It just doesn't. The feeling of being able to win, the feeling to be able to go through hardship, the feeling of being able to enjoy this moment with your teammates, with your family, being able to know that there's a lot of time, the amount of days that you stacked to be able to get to this moment. You dream of it. And to being able to be in the finals is something that I didn't expect myself to be a part of for a very long time. So just being able to do this in my first year, I just want to be able to learn as much as I possibly can and grow as much as I possibly can.
Dereck, what have you personally learned about yourself through this playoff run? I know you've been through a lot, and you talk a lot about how your teammates have been able to help you through that. What have you learned about yourself throughout this whole postseason run?
I feel like my mama always kind of said this, but my way is the hardest way. We're not going to take the easy way out. We're not going to cry if things are going our way or if it seems like everything's stacked against us. We just got to be able to huddle together as a family, being able to lean on each other. There's a lot of times where, it might seem like the world's against you, or it might seem like, you look in the mirror and you ain't seeing the same person. But whenever you come in here and you're able to smile with the teammates, being able to laugh with your teammates, being able to enjoy time with your teammates, it makes everything outside of the basketball world that much easier.
What have you thought about Coach Kidd's stewardship, if you will, on this process? As your first NBA coach, so you don't have much to compare it to, but what's it been like for you playing for him?
I feel like he's been one of the best coaches I've ever had. He's putting me in positions where, he's expecting me to fail, and even if I fail, he's going to leave me in there to learn. I feel like, his coaching style fits me very well. He's walking into the locker room and then asking, so what do we think? Being able to have a coach like that who's going to make the players speak, make the players talk to one another, and then say what he thinks is an amazing process. We're able to talk to one another about what we think we need to do together as a team. And then whenever the staff comes in, they bring in their own light, what they see from the court, because players and coaches see the game two different ways, and we're just able to help each other. I feel like Coach Kidd has definitely, there's been a lot of criticism on him, and I don't understand why. I feel like he's an amazing coach and an amazing person.
What are some of the ways that Tyson Chandler has helped you become the player you are today?
Being able to be mentally tough, being able to know that, I look at him and I see myself plus 20, 25 years. And seeing someone who has been in my position, who has been in this seat, who has played in the championship, who has gotten a championship, being able to guide me, it makes me that much more confident in who I am. Knowing that he has my back, he's confident in me, makes me want to go out on the court and just play with that much more aggression.
What does this Boston team holds differently as a threat compared to that of the Clippers, Thunder, and Timberwolves?
I feel like they're an amazing team. They've been on the top 3 teams in the league the entire year. They could shoot the shit out of the ball. 1 through 5, they're an amazing team. They can space the floor. They can get to the rim. They have a lot of weapons that they can use on the floor. So it's just going to be able to try to be able to understand when they're going to use their weapons and when we can try to use their weapon against them.
I'm sure you're familiar with the history of Kristaps here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the matchup with him and Al Horford as well?
It's basketball, man. The media is going to try to turn it into, they're either going to look at Kristaps, they're going to look at Kai, they're going to try to turn it into something. But we're going to go out there and just play. There's a lot of things a lot of tensions that's going on the floor, a lot of tensions that's going on in the locker room, but that doesn't matter to us. We're focused on going out there and getting 4 wins in a row. Not 4 wins in a row, but 4 wins, stack them, and being able to know that there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. There's going to be a lot of people questioning things, and we got to be able to stick together with positive talk and be able to have each other's back.
I think most of us have seen the photo of the team photo on the plane. What was that plane ride back like? Maybe some highlights or discussions.
It was an interesting plane ride back. It was very high spirits in the plane, but we were driving in the thunderstorm. We're able to just lean on each other. We're able to have fun, even in the moments where we're kind of like, we gonna make it back. But It was a great time. You know, everybody was leaning on each other. Everyone was talking to each other. You know, people in the front of the plane and people talking to the people in the back of the plane. So it was just everybody from the flight stewardess to the pilot. Everybody was happy, and we even had fans that were waiting out in the rain at 2, 3 in the morning. So being able to have people like that back you up just makes you want to go out there even harder.
Did you envision yourself having this kind of impact in your rookie year based on what you've done, and what was the vision that the staff had for you going into the season?
I don't think any of us expected this. I ain't expect this. My mom ain't expect this. Tyson ain't expect this. Jason Kidd ain't expect this. They expected me to come to the Dallas Mavericks and learn, and I feel like that's what I did. You know, I don't think they expected me to learn this much this quick, and I think I've been able to be very fortunate for them to put me in positions to learn. You know, there's been a lot of times where I was unsure of play calls, unsure of positions, unsure of different things, but I've been able to lean on my team. You know, they backed me up. They understand that I'm rookie. They understand that I haven't been in this situation before. But, you know, I'm going to fake it till I make it.
Perfect for the field in the Western Conference Finals. What do you attribute that to? What does that say about potential long term?
You know, I attribute that to I have an angel on my shoulder. You know, I feel like she helped me out there making my dunks and making my little hooks, some free throws, and just being able to just be a voice in the court. You know, I feel like I can definitely attribute that 16-16 for my mother.
I know Marquise doesn't play a lot, but talk about the leadership he has provided.
Man, I feel like, you know, every time you look in the court, you see Jason Kidd standing up and Keith's back talking to everybody on the floor, even the other team. It doesn't matter what's going on the floor. Keith's thinking about the next play, or the right lineup. And there's a lot of times where we can look at each other and we know if someone's having an off game. We know if someone ain't making some shots, we're gonna have to pick them up. And the first person to pick him up is Keith. You know, he's first person off the floor. First person to dab you up after making a good play, but he's the first person to pick you up if you make a bad play. Being able to have someone like that is amazing. You know, he's been in many different positions. He's been in many different teams. So he has a lot of different looks on what the NBA has. And I've definitely learned a lot from him, and he's taught me a lot.
Dereck, how are you feeling from a health standpoint?
I'm great. Looking left, right. I'm great. You know, everyone's been asking for the past couple of days if I'm all right. You know, if I'm going to get hit in the head another 3-4 times, I'm still get back up and act like nothing happened.
Dereck, are you surprised at the way it's almost like symbiotic relationship with you and Gafford and how that works? And when he was acquired, clearly you were starting.
Mm-hmm.
What was your feeling about that?
You know, I'm here to win games. I'm not here to care about how many points I put on the board, how many rebounds I put on the board, how many times I start in the game. And he's the same way. You know, I feel like we have a great 1-2 dynamic of picking each other up. No matter if I'm having a bad game, he's having a bad game, or if we're both having a good game, we're going to pick each other up no matter what's going on. You know, being able to have both of us coming out there, setting screens, getting lobs, throwing elbows, catching rebounds, it makes our teammates trust us. Since we got the paint, they know that they got to lock down the three-point line and the perimeter. And if they don't, they're just going to send them to us. And having that trust of, okay, if we ain't got them, our bigs got them.
Did it work out even better maybe than you thought it would?
For sure. And I feel like me and Gafford's dynamic is amazing. You know, I feel like I look at him as an older brother. You know, I've leaned on him many times, understanding the different schemes in the game, understanding different points, when to make a push, when to be able to take care of the ball, and just understanding the flow of the game.
Dereck, there's been a special group of kids that have shown you support this entire season.
Brittany Cohen, you know, she's an amazing teacher. I love everybody a part of that school, a part of that class.
You've talked so much about how much you care about the next generation, and I don't know if you've seen their videos on Twitter. I'm sure that you have, of when they're, you know, reenacting your dunks or just following up with the game the next day. If you could just tell that class anything about the support that they've shown this season, what would it be?
They know I love them. They know that for sure. You know, no matter if they had a lemonade stand, I drove like 45 minutes out, and I almost got there late. But I was just trying to make sure that I can do whatever I can to make an impact in a kid's life. Because, you know, I feel like whenever we're young, we have many dreams, we have many aspirations. And when we grow up, we lose those. You know, we lose sight of who we wanted to be, what dreams we had as a kid. And I feel like we should never lose those things. Those things kind of shape the person who you are, and they shape the future who you could be. So I'm just trying to be able to make sure that no matter if you're 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, whatever you want to do, whoever you want to be, do your best to do it.
Dereck, as you mentioned, Boston shoots a lot of threes. They have a tough 5-out offense. How much progression do you think this defense has achieved guarding 5-out offenses?
It's come down to a lot of talk and trust, communication, and just trusting the next man behind you. It's going to be a lot of rotations, a lot of scrambling going on, but I feel like we're going to be able to talk to each other. And even if we mess up, we're going to move on to the next play and learn. Because if we don't learn, then we shouldn't be here.
Dereck, the trade deadline has been pointed to as a turning point for the season. With the talent in place, the pieces that came here, and then the investment on defense. But how does chemistry, how is that a key to the success that this team has going to the finals?
It has a lot. Understanding people's tempos, understanding what they like to do, what makes them uncomfortable, but being able to uplift your teammates because you know what spots to put them in, or you understand what rhythm they like to get into. It took me a little while to understand Kyrie and Lucas, but whenever PJ and Gaff here, it was like they just picked up the things that we were trying to do. They hopped right into the schemes we were running, and they fit like a perfect puzzle piece. So just being able to have that on the floor, off the floor, we're a close-knit family. We always try to lean on one another, where we try to see one another and try to enjoy time with one another. And that's going to make us on the floor tighter and more of a team.
And what have you learned about yourself during this postseason?
Tough as nails, man. I don't care what name, what you do to me, what you throw at me. If I hit the ground, I'm going to get back up.
Dereck, guarding Porzingis and Horford, obviously two floor-stretching bigs. What have you thought of your development, moving your feet in space and guarding on the perimeter this season?
I feel like at the start of the season, it was a little shaky, and throughout the middle of the season, it was definitely a little shaky. But when it comes down to those key moments and we have to sit down and guard, I love it. I love being in those moments. Your adrenaline's pumping, your heart's pumping, and you just feel alive in those moments. Those moments where people try to break you down as a big, and you sitting in front of them, it kind of makes you chuckle because they look at you like, oh, he can move his feet. But, it's definitely taken a long journey of being able to try to stay in front of people, especially people who are as talented as they are in the league.
What do you think is going to be your biggest challenge with facing the Celtics here starting later this week?
Being consistent. No matter if they're making a run, no matter if we're making a run, we got to be able to have our foot on the gas. No matter what's going on the floor, no matter what's going on and what they say in the stands, we got to be able to be poised, be focused, and execute.
How much for you guys relish the underdog role because you were not favored in the three previous series, you're not favored this series?
I feel like we feel like there's always someone pointing down on us, and we're like, okay, cool. You're going to say that about us. Watch what we about to do next. And we've kind of just taken that to heart. If people are going to just label us as underdogs, overrated, or we can't get things done, we just kind of shrug our shoulders. I feel like we've all dealt with a lot of adversity in our life, a lot of people telling us we can't, and I feel like that drives us. Whenever people tell us we can't, we want to do it a little bit more.
I think a lot of people forget that when the playoffs started, you hadn't played in 3 weeks.
Yeah, actually, yep.
And so your first game back, you were talking about just getting used to the playoffs and getting your win back. At what point in the playoffs did you kind of figure out, hey man, I can do this, I can embrace this?
That's hard. I feel like there's different waves. It's an up and down type of mentality. There's a lot of things that's going to go on. You might have some games where you're perfect from the floor, and you might have games where you're 0 for 4. But it really comes down to whenever you're making a defensive possession and you get a defensive stop and you push another offensive end and you see everybody on your team take off at the same time. When you're in that same light together, at that point, it doesn't matter what is going on the court. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter how you're doing it all. When you're going out there and you feel your teammates giving it their all, you just want to give it your all. So I feel like it was around like the Clippers series when we were in LA, and I think we got that first win whenever I felt my team riding behind me every step without a hitch. That's how I knew we were something special.
You had a chance to watch them before you became his teammate. And one thing we constantly hear here is that he's not a great athlete. And then you play with him.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to this idea that he's not a great athlete?
He can hoop. He can hoop. He might not be able to windmill, but you know, he's one of the best players in the world. And being able to say that about somebody is crazy. Knowing people are going to game plan for him, people are going to double him, and he's still going to pick you apart. Being able to have someone on the team like that is amazing, and there's nothing you can compare that to.
Last question, I guess. There's a video of you circulating from All-Star Weekend interviewing Jayson Tatum.
Yep.
He's giving you advice on just your rookie season, and now you're facing him in the Celtics in the finals. Just what is that moment like for you, especially the Duke connection?
Full circle. I feel like I've seen him whenever I was back in college, seen him before college, and now going up against him he's an amazing player. They're an amazing team. It gives me, I don't even know what the words to say. It gives me like pins and needles because I'm excited. Being able to go up against such a great team and being able to I know I'm going to fail, but being able to adapt to the things that I'm failing is something I'm looking forward to. Something I'm looking forward to is just going out there, making a mistake, learning, and then correcting that mistake in front of people.
And lastly, you just mentioned failure a lot as like a positive thing. So what's your definition of success?
Definition of success. Not being the same person you were yesterday. Being able to learn, it might just be one little thing, just being able to change one thing in your life. I feel like that's the slow progression that everybody needs. Thank you.
Take us through the last dunk. Why are they so successful? You guys got almost as many last dunk as all the other playoff teams combined.
It's just connection and chemistry. Just trusting he's going to throw the ball at the right time, in the right area, and having the trust to know that I'm going to jump and go get it, or Gaff is going to jump and go get it. There's been times at practice where we mess up or the timing might be wrong, but we're going to do it again and again and again until we get it right. I feel like that's what we've done throughout this entire season. No matter if that's on the defensive end or the offensive end, we're going to rep it out as many times until we get it correct and until we can perfect it.